Estuary News tonight, a new deputy at the helm of Humberside Police, a food bank sees a demand in service over the summer, and celebrating dyslexia in Hull. And later in tonight's programme, racing into the studio, Peter Hickman on his motorbike challenge. Before that, I'll be talking to Dr Lauren Darwin on African stories. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Tuesday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, Humberside Police has announced its new Deputy Chief Constable. Chris Rowley joins the force from West Yorkshire Police. He held a range of senior leadership roles, including Head of Protective Services and Crime. He replaces Gary Forsyth, who has taken up a new role at Bedfordshire Police. The Police and Crime Commissioner, Keith Hunter, said his appointment was indicative of the renewed confidence in the force. Hull Food Bank has seen its number of users double this summer. In July and August, almost 90 parents with children aged between 5 and 11 used the service. Manager Russ Barlow says that the increased figure can be put down to the difficulty people face in supporting their families during the summer holidays.
I think over the summer the figures were similar to last year, but the biggest jump was in the 5 to 11 year-old children. From July to August, the actual amount of 5 to 11s doubled, and that shows how difficult it is for some people over the summer holidays, I think it's difficult for families on the low incomes, so that they're having to live day to day, and the extra pressure of having kids at home, no free school meals, extra childcare that they might have to pay out. It all has an effect. And when you're on those low incomes, it doesn't take much to push you over the edge so that you need to use the services of a food bank. So like I say, 5 to 11 year olds, from July to August it doubled. It's busy all the time. Last year we supported 5,600 people over that year, and the numbers tend to increase each year. So we're expecting busy periods, sort of full stop.
The MP for Louth and Horncastle, Victoria Aikins, has voted with the government in support of the EU withdrawal bill. The MP stressed the duty on government to pursue a smooth withdrawal from the EU for the purpose of citizens and businesses at a recent debate. She supported the approach of adopting EU law into British law through the bill, enabling Parliament to play an active role in the future of law decisions. East Lindsey District Council has completed the purchase of the Louth Navigation Warehouse. The Grade 2 listed building was built in 1790 and was restored in 1999 with the help of grants from the Heritage Lottery Fund and other sources. The council earlier this year accepted the Louth Navigation Trust's offer to register the building as an asset of community value. Roger Subden, chairman of the trust, is delighted with the outcome. A new exhibition is tackling the stigma around dyslexia in Hull. The Dyslexia Portrait by Miranda Ha is a series of abstract photographs of individuals who have the condition. It's part of the Square Peg series of exhibitions hosted by ArtLink, which shines the spotlight on disability-themed artwork. Rachel French, the manager of Square Peg, hopes that the project will educate those with or without the condition.
Miranda herself was diagnosed with dyslexia a couple of years ago, and she was diagnosed as an adult. And what she found is that there were lots of articles online kind of saying this is what it is to experience dyslexia. You might have seen some. They often show letters jumping around a page and things like that. And what she found is that didn't represent her experience at all. And what she wanted to do was create a better understanding of how diverse dyslexia is. I think for us, it's about improving the confidence of people who may have dyslexia, who may be be experiencing dyslexia and not be diagnosed. We're finding that for some people it is still a bit taboo. Some people don't want to sort of announce that they are dyslexic. They want to remain anonymous, and it's just about kind of showing, how big an issue this is, and encouraging people to kind of understand they're not on their own with it, but also to encourage people who don't experience dyslexia to have a better understanding of what it is to have dyslexia.
North Lincolnshire Council's ambitious plans to replace streetlights across the county will start next week. The £6 million scheme will see 21,000 lights switch to more efficient LEDs, which use between 50 and 75% less energy than the current lights. It will save the council £500,000 on energy costs. The project is expected to take 3 years to complete. Northern Rail have announced further strike action. Members of the RMT union will walk out in a dispute over the driver-only operation of trains. The strike will take place on the 3rd and 5th of October. Major roadworks in Hull will be suspended next month. Newland Avenue will temporarily reopen to traffic to allow access to Hull Fair from the 2nd of October for 2 weeks. Phase 1 of the works has been completed ahead of schedule, allowing the road to be reopened. This will give unrestricted access to businesses along the avenue and allow the scheduled bus services to travel along the street during this period. The stories and social histories of black people with African heritage will be shared in a new exhibition in Hull later this month. To tell me more, I'm delighted to welcome my first guest this evening, Dr Lauren Darwin. Good evening, Lauren. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. First of all, what is the exhibition you're involved with?
So the exhibition will showcase our findings on people of African descent in Hull and East Yorkshire between 1750 and 2007. It'll showcase all of the stories that we have, or the majority of them that we have so far, and a few new ones too.
So that's covering a massive time span. Have we seen a lot of African people within the Hull and East Riding area across all those years?
Yeah, so historically Hull and East Yorkshire has been perceived as a white area, in which a space in which only white people interacted. However, we found that this is definitely not the case, and Hull and East Yorkshire had a much more multicultural and diverse community than has ever been thought before, and we are really bringing them stories to life and them histories to life.
Do we still have quite a big African community in the area, Hull and East Riding area, in the modern day form?
Yes, we do. Part of our project is to record, we've recorded 30 contemporary voices, and they're from people who live in the region at the moment, and they reflect on their experiences before 2007, but in a much more recent time frame.
Okay. Now, Lauren, why do you think it was important for this exhibition to come to fruition?
I think it's really important because I think it's really important because, as I said before, Hull has been perceived as a white space. Hull and East Yorkshire has been perceived as a white space, and we really want to uncover everybody's history and also show that black people, people of African descent, really contributed to the culture and the economic, social and culture fabric of the region.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And the exhibition is called African Stories, Hull and East Riding.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to be taking place at the Hull History Centre.
It is, yes. So it's on from the 26th, so next Tuesday it opens, and it'll end on the 21st of October. So we'd love all your viewers, obviously, to come along.
We'll make sure we get some front row seats
yes.
to come along to it. How heavily involved have you been with setting up the project?
So I've been quite heavily involved. I am the lead researcher on the project. Our project lead is Gifty Burrows. She thought of the idea. She got Heritage Lottery funding idea, and then I came on board. And together we've worked very much together with other members of the team to create a fantastic website and obviously the exhibition as well.
Okay. Now, I believe you're still looking for people to share their memories and stories of their African descent, because the project is going right through until next year, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, next May.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely are. So anybody who has lived, worked or visited Hull or East Yorkshire before 2007, we would love to hear from. We have got multi-generational family stories as well, so we retrace people's grandparents who came to the region from the West Indies or from Africa. And if you fit into the project, then please do contact us. We'd love everybody to contact us through the website or via email, but through the website's probably easier. And you can find us by Googling African Stories in Hull and East Yorkshire.
Okay, fantastic, Laura. And I believe the email address for people to get in touch about the project is wilberforcemonumentfund@gmail.com. Yes. So if they want to be part of the project, they can get in touch in that way.
Yes.
Now, as I said earlier there, you've been very heavily involved with the project. What kind of stories or mementos have people brought forward what we will see at the exhibition?
So at the exhibition, one of the most intriguing things is we've got family histories on board, and we've got cabinets, and people have brought us their family mementos and their treasures. Ros Sullivan, Clive Sullivan's wife, has been heavily involved.
Okay.
There's the Bowers family and the Weeks family, and they've all brought family heirlooms really, and really precious items for us to display that I'm hoping everybody will be really interested in.
Because it's a fascinating project, and great to highlight, you know, African descent in the area. And one of our great campaigners, of course, was William Wilberforce. How important is he, in your opinion, to the story of Hull and anti-slavery?
He's exceptionally important, and his legacy has brought people of African descent to the region. Paul Robeson went to Wilberforce House, the Harlem Globetrotters went to Wilberforce House to visit where the great emancipator was born. So people go and really do get involved with his legacy. The Blackbirds, Lou Leslie's Blackbirds, who performed in Hull, went to Wilberforce Monument, and the Fisk Jubilee Singers went to Wilberforce House and sang there.
A great campaigner.
Yes, a great
Lauren,
campaigner.
it's been a pleasure. All the best with the project. Thank you very much for coming in this Tuesday evening.
Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you.
Join me after the break when Jack brings us a roundup of the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Peter Hickman about his motorcycle challenge. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Peter Hickman about his motorcycle challenge. Links and Knots Air Ambulance is now carrying blood on board its Ambu computer. It will enable the crew to undertake on-site blood transfusions for the first time, significantly enhancing pre-hospital critical care at the scene of incidents or accidents. The blood is supplied by Lincoln County Hospital and delivered to the charity's airbase. The ambulance charity is only one of 6 in the UK to be able to offer the service. A new exhibition opens to the public in Hull tomorrow. Trevor Key's Top 40 exhibition will look at the work of the photographer who worked primarily in the music industry. His most iconic sleeve is Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells. The exhibition will showcase some of his best work at the Hull School of Art and Design until December. It's one of 60 new projects to receive funding through the Hull 2017 Creative Communities programme. A former Grimsby skipper will be giving a talk about his experiences of life at sea. John Roberts, who recently retired from a 50-year career, rose through the ranks of the Grimsby trawlers to become skipper on some famous ships, including the Ross Tiger. During his time aboard the trawlers, he documented much of his experiences with photography and cine film. The event takes place at the Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre on the 6th of October at 2 p.m. Lindsay Lodge Hospice has been given a cash boost. Staff at Ongo Communities raised £600 for the charity at a recent race night. The hospice provides palliative care to patients with life-limiting illnesses across North Lincolnshire. The money raised will go towards making patients' lives more comfortable, said fundraiser Andy Hurst. I'm joined now by my second guest tonight, Peter Hickman, to tell me about his hopes of winning the coveted British Superbike Championships. Good evening, Peter. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
How you doing, all right?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Now, tell me why you're involved with this Superbike Championships, first of all.
I've been racing in the British Superbike Championship since 2006. It's something that I've wanted to do right from being a kid, really. Aspiring at the start to ride in MotoGP, but I'm probably a bit too tall for that that old game now. But racing in the British Superbike Championship is one of the best championships in the world, mostly known as the best domestic championship in the world. So we have riders from all over the place come in to ride here, and a fan base that's global.
Yeah. And the Superbike Championships, as you said there, one of the best in the world, started back in 1988, so it's doing phenomenally. well.
Yeah, it's been going for a long time. It's had a few different kind of guises it's run throughout the years, and obviously as bikes change and times change as well. So it's kind of gone through a different stage recently as well. And the new rules, the organisers have done a really good job of making the rules very even between the manufacturers, so nobody really has a massive advantage whether you ride a Kawasaki, a Ducati, or like myself, or ride a BMW. So it makes the championship very close and good for the fans.
Okay, and an element of competitiveness there, I would imagine, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the real good things about the rules is, for myself, I'm running in a privateer team, Smiths Racing BMW, and we're actually able to compete with all the factory teams, which are backed, like Honda up the road in Louth. We're actually competing against them and able to beat them.
Okay, because you're a local lad yourself, you're from the Louth area, aren't you? Is there much of a motorbike scene in the local area?
Yeah, Lincolnshire's actually quite renowned for a lot of bike riders as well as bike teams as well. I don't really know what it is about Lincolnshire that promotes such good bike riders, but there's myself, the Lowe's twins, there's loads, Craig Neves up the road here as well, there's loads of us. So it's been a real good time for Lincolnshire, especially in recent years.
And to put Lincolnshire on the map as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you said you got involved with this back in 2006, so what achievements have you seen yourself be part of it in those 11 years?
Yeah, I've done a lot, and I was racing before then, people only ever really see when you've kind of made it, or they think you've only been there for a little bit. My career's been 17 years now. My first ever race was back in 2000 on mini motos, and I've just kind of built my way up through the championships and done what I can to get where I am today. And I've done a bit of all sorts. I've raced in the World Superbike Championship. I've had one race doing that. I also raced at the Isle of Man TT, which a lot of people know about. I managed to get 5 podiums this year from 5 races, which not many people have done. Didn't quite win one, nearly, but not quite. I've won at British Superbike Championship level. I've raced in Macau, which is a road race, but in China, going through the centre of the Macau city. I've raced that twice and won that twice, which is quite nice. I've been all over really. I've won at the Ulster Grand Prix as well, which is a road race just outside of Belfast. Okay. Big international race again, so I've been all over the place. So
as well as seeing the world, you're obviously also very proud of your achievements.
Yeah, of course. No, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I really enjoy my racing. So I enjoy riding bikes, and to be able to be in the position I am now to actually earn a bit of money out of it as well, it's absolutely brilliant.
Good. Now, as I said, people from all over the world will be coming to take part in the finals of these Superbike Championships. So how confident are you of actually winning the competed title?
Well, we don't turn up to make numbers, we turn up because we want to win. And the British Superbike Championships run over 12 rounds. The first 9 are to get into what's called a showdown, and then only the top 6 riders after round 9 can actually win the championship. And this year I've made the showdown for the first time. I've missed out on it a few times by very little, but this year we've made it quite comfortably. I'm currently 5th in the championship. We've had 1 round of the showdown, 3 rounds if you like, which was at Alton Park last weekend. And we've got 2 rounds left, Assen and then Brands Hatch, the 14th to the 16th of October. Okay. And that's going to be the big one really, so it'll always go down to the wire. We're not too far away, and fingers crossed we can actually win the championship.
Fingers crossed, Peter. I wish you all the best. So Brands Hatch in October, that will obviously be the culmination of this event, and that's when you will find out whether you're the winner or not.
Basically, yes. It'd be nice if we're a bit closer than what we are at the minute to the championship lead. I'm 41 points behind, but we've got 5 races, 2 at Assen, which is in the Netherlands, and then the 3 at Brands Hatch in October. What
do you think to Brands Hatch as a course?
Really good actually. It's one of the best in the country, and I led actually quite a lot of the laps there in the early part of the year when we went there for the race. So should be confident for that one.
And you're going to be seeing people from all over the world?
Yeah, we have fans come from all over the world. Okay. People literally fly from all over the world just to come and actually watch the British Superbike Championship, and it's one of the biggest motorsport events really in the UK. We have up to and over 50,000 people over a weekend, which is brilliant.
Long may it continue, and I wish you all the best for October. Come back and let us know how it went, Peter.
Will do.
Thank you very much for being my guest this Tuesday evening.
Cheers.
Now here's Jack with all the sport.
Hull City forward Jared Bowen picked up his 2nd award in the space of 3 days last night. After winning the EFL Youth Player of the Month, he went on to be rewarded with the club Sport Pisa Player of the Month for August after scoring 4 goals in the opening 4 weeks of the season. The Tigers' next game is on Saturday at the Madejski Stadium, in which they face Reading. Hull will be hoping to build from their point to Sunderland last Saturday and move up from 17th. Kick-off for that one will be at 3. Grimsby Town reserves lost 2-1 against Notts County today. The match saw starts for Cardwell, Killip, Clements, Bolerinwa and Davis. The Mariners took the lead for an early goal by Ola Carmney, but minutes later Elliot Hodge equalised and Liam Walker converted a penalty early in the second half. The match allowed players such as Clements and Bolerinwa get a full 90 minutes under their belt in preparation for when the Mariners travel to Newport on Saturday. Kick-off for that game will be at 3 o'clock. Scunthorpe welcome Portsmouth to Glanford Park on Saturday, with Scunthorpe looking to build upon their 1-0 win which they gained last week over Doncaster. The Iron currently sit just inside the playoffs in 6th place, with their opponents Portsmouth sitting in 12th. Kick-off for that one is at 3. Hull FC are preparing for their final Super 8s match on Friday against Castleford Tigers, who currently sit in 1st place. A win for Hull would cement their place in the top 4 and result in them getting into the playoffs. However, if St Helens fail to beat Salford Red Devils on Thursday night, then Hull would have already secured a playoff position. Kick-off for that match is at 8 o'clock on Friday. Hull Kingston Rovers captain Sean Lunt was named Championship Player of the Year last night after beating teammate Chris Atkin and Toulouse Olympics Mark Kiriella. The Robin head coach Tim Sheens was also nominated for Championship Manager of the Season, but missed out to London Broncos head coach Andrew Henderson. And finally, Hull Enzians lost 19-10 to Heath last night, which became a physical match in testing conditions. However, just before the break, Brown was able to split the defence and score a try, with a kick being converted by Hinchcliffe, giving Heath a 7-3 lead at the break. Jordan Bradbury and James Watson both scored further tries to extend Heath's lead to a 19 points to 3 until a late consolation try by Martinsons, and a conversion by Smith meant the final score was 19-10 to Heath. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's just about it for today. Thank you to Peter and Lauren for being my great guest this Tuesday evening. As always, if you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553, or write to us at the usual address. As always, we'll look forward to hearing from you with any interesting news stories you may have for us to cover. Have a great Tuesday evening. We'll see you same time tomorrow, live at 5:30 from all of us on the team. Good evening.